Mark, you must not only be delighted with the scoreline, but for large parts the performance this afternoon.
Yeah, the performance is always one thing. I mean, results at this point are crucial. Obviously, we need as many points as quickly as we can possibly get, but you know, we want to play well as well, and we did. We set it up slightly differently. We took Marv off the left hand side, where I feel as if he's been getting a little bit log jammed. You know, people are doubling up on him, and I think he's not getting a lot of protection from referees. So we wanted to try and free him up a little bit, because we feel he's got so much potential if we can make better use of him, and that's the way it was today. And him getting the goal, lived up to what we hoped might happen. We played very, very well.
Although once it went to 3-1, there was still a wee bit of jitters in the crowd and maybe in the dugout as well.
Yeah, well, we've been the architects of our own downfall a lot recently in the last minutes of games, so I think we're all entitled to be a bit nervous, but we saw it through. It was a disappointing goal to lose. The corner will be disappointed. I'm not exactly sure what happened. We'll look at that later, but we'll forget about that as well and think that overall we thoroughly deserved the win. We went about our business in a really, really good way. The work ethic was just fantastic. The three strikers defensively, the three midfield players discipline and getting around the park and getting up and support the strikers in the back four. Courageous and defending when they needed to defend. It was all round. It was a really good performance.
You mentioned after last week's game, obviously Scott McDonald had to pull out late against St Johnstone, and he came back in today and was the architect of much that was good about the performance this afternoon. Yeah,
I think Scott has been consistently good for us, since I've been here. I was so disappointed last week when he pulled out, because I felt that he looking back at the game at 1-1, he might have made the difference to get us to 2-1 instead of us eventually losing the game. So you need your best players, and the way we want to play, you need Scott to link a lot of what we do. So he is a very, very important player for us, and when he's playing in that sort of way, then he's a player that's played at the top level, remember, and he's bringing that here when he plays like that.
You can also see him, I noticed a couple of times talking Louis Moult through the game as well, almost kind of saying, when I get the ball in this kind of situation, you need to go there and I'll find you, and that's another important role he plays as well.
Well, what is very, very important is that Scott McDonald knows more about football than any of us, and therefore he's able to keep us right as well, so both on and off the park. So he is a big help to Louis out there.
Now, one other performance that caught my eye was young Cadden, who gave us the ability to get up the park quickly as well, 30, 40, 50 yards run, which would take us from defending positions to deep in their half.
And give everyone else a chance to draw breath. Unbelievable, fantastic. And I said to Steve Robinson in the warm-up, I looked at Cads and he suddenly looks taller. He looks confident, the way he's moving, he's got that bit more of a swagger and that bit more belief, and he took that out there today. He was terrific, and the work he went through and the ground he covered, was tremendous, and having Louis Lang and having Ben Hall and having Cads and team getting these young boys in the team, and remember, Moult's only 23, so getting as many of these young boys in the team as possible is what we're here to do. Now, in saying that, the experienced players, today were absolutely immense and saw the young boys through it, but it's that combination on a day like this when everyone works as hard and everyone gels that you get a performance like the one we got. And for the supporters, I'm just so pleased for the supporters, because we came here against Kilmarnock and had the Ross County game and the Inverness game in the Cup, and all of those games were tragic, and that it's overdue that they got a performance that they can go home and talk a little bit positively about.
You mentioned after we beat Dundee United 3-0 just 10 days or so ago that it counts for nothing if we don't follow up with something else and not getting carried away. I know we're probably back up in 8th place, but we need to be looking to take something from the game next week against Hamilton. Yeah,
well, it's not just the 8th place, it's the 4 points above Kilmarnock that are important. We've got to keep chipping away at that and incrementally just try and draw away from that area as much as we can to give ourselves as big a margin as we can. So that was important, as sort of the 3 points, and we've just got to keep doing that. Next week away at Hamilton, that'll be a really difficult game, local derby, we all know all about it, so we've got to take the same spirit, the same work ethic and the same determination into that game if we're going to give ourselves any chance of getting anything there. That'll be a really difficult place to go.
Thanks very much, Mark.